Yeah. Oh, by the way, Vivian, you're free to join my server. I am. By the way, yes, I do. It does look like I'm in the Destiny sphere because I have a Destiny plushie, but this Destiny plushie is cute. That's why I have it. But also another thing is that you know what's so funny is that I like one of the biggest things I hoped for in the past was that I was like, oh my god, I wish I had channel perms, and a part of me still wished I had like Destiny channel perms or whatever like that because it would help with my exposure a lot in my content creation
Up
stuff.
until I got banned from his server,
Yeah,
I could just jump into his chat whenever I wanted, like
yeah,
while he was on stream,
hmm
which was useful on a couple of occasions.
yeah,
But but broadly, like I'm fine with that bridge being burnt because I don't want to be fucking associated with somebody who would like do or say some of the things that he did or said, especially in regards to like Doe, for example. Who you can think Doe's a stupid bitch or you're like, I didn't get on with Doe at all
mm,
at the time that he was like making those comments and stuff, but he just fucking completely overstepped the line for me into like what you can say about any of my fucking trans sisters, you know? Like I
okay,
don't care if you think she's a dumb bitch or not, you don't fucking
uh
like sit there making jokes about a suicide attempt, you know? Like fuck you.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, all right, yeah, that's understandable, absolutely, yeah, um, yeah, absolutely. It's a another thing is like I see my perspective on the channel perms thing is that even though I never got the channel perms thing specifically is I at the end of the day maybe you can call it copium and I do admit it's a little bit of copium, but I like to say that it's a silver lining in the copium, right? It's both copium but it's also silver linings at the same time. Is that it sort of helped me establish my own identity by not having channel perms. Um, because once
What
you
do you mean
become,
by channel perms?
hmm?
What do you mean by channel perms?
Destiny room channel perms.
Oh, so the ability to go into his chat
Yes,
when
into his chat whenever the
right.
fuck he you
Yeah,
want. Yeah, because I know you can be like a zero viewer
yeah,
and still
I
get his
thought
channel
that's what you
perms.
meant. That's why I mentioned I had it for a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, yeah. And you know it's really strange because I established my own identity and now like it feels almost as if like I'm on the outer sphere of everything. You know what I mean? Like it feels like I'm like a ghost. I'm like a total ghost.
Well, I
And
mean,
and yet,
you have to make an effort. And you have to
yeah,
identify, like, if you actually want to like get big or
grow.
whatever.
Yeah, you have
I
to separate
I'm
separate
I'm
yourself.
not
Yeah.
super interested in that anymore, right? Because
Mhm.
like my work in consultancy elsewhere and shit, like
Yeah.
it's just better. And it's
Mhm.
a better environment as well. Like it's an extraordinarily toxic environment you're looking to be a part of.
Yeah.
Um, just as a warning. But
Yeah.
like, if you want to do that, you basically have to like muscle your way into like whatever the popular topic of the week fucking panels and everything are, right?
Mhm.
Like, no offense to our host here tonight,
Yeah.
but like,
No, full offense
there's no,
actually, in my opinion.
I d- there's not a huge amount of viewers or whatever, right?
No,
So
there are
like
not.
a panel like
We
this
had a pretty active chat though.
a panel like this is not really going to help you grow all that much. But also in muscling yourself onto the larger panels or whatever, right? Like you want to get
Uh,
on, like, fuck, what are the large panels nowadays? On Twitch?
definitely Kick or Keep.
Who?
Kick or Keep by Carontos and Destiny.
Oh, right, that shit. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, okay, but like, I was trying to think like, so you got to set yourself like an attainable fucking goal to start with, right? You're like, you get on some mid tier panels or whatever. You
Mhm.
form relationships and you network there. You invite people onto your streams and do stuff with them.
That's
Um,
I've been on there 2 times and that's what I've been doing. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about broadly just networking and pulling your way up. You
Mhm.
can't just turn up on the panel and appear and expect to
And
suddenly get
expect
huge.
growth. Yeah, that's you see, that's a lot of mistakes that some orbiters make. And I'm not gonna
Yeah,
name any names, but like I call it like the death spiral, the orbiter death spiral, where you orbit somebody and just expect growth, but you don't get any growth.
yeah,
or it's like the appearance death spiral where you just appear on things and people recognize you, but you don't make any active you don't make any active, actions on your own, and you don't really grow as a result. Meanwhile, if you are actively making active effort, your effort will pay off. And yeah, there's a difference between passive effort and active effort, right? For example, if Tachyon is actually going out and contacting people to make these panels, he will grow.
Yeah,
But if he's simply just appearing in my streams as an orbiter, he will not grow. The only thing he will get as a result of appearing on my streams is exposure, name recognition. That is the only thing he'll be getting, unless he has an extremely unique personality. I'm talking
but
about Greek
then
god.
what's your like viewer count? Are you multi-streaming on Twitch and YouTube, or just on YouTube?
Me?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, I multi-stream on YouTube and Kick.
Oh, Kick. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You have a decent viewer count on Kick.
On okay, when it's peak, I can have up to combined it is around 20 20 to 30, 20 to 25 on in total, I'll say.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
that's like an okay, like,
Yeah,
if you can
yeah,
pull that much, you can grow.
yeah.
Yeah.
I started 4 months ago, 3 months ago, 3 to 4 months ago.
Yeah, that's not too bad for that amount of time. Plenty of people
Mhm.
sit at like fucking 2 people for months on end. So
Yeah. And yeah, I yeah, for sure. And yeah, so that's why okay. I guess like going out to panels and stuff, in my opinion, it is active effort, but it's not like active effort. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
no, you're absolutely right.
Because somebody can invite you onto a panel, and then you go onto the panel. In my opinion, that's sort of passive effort. Like that's the equivalent of you just hopping
Yeah.
onto someone's stream as an orbiter, right? But then if you go out and then actually reach out to somebody, another streamer that's bigger than you on that panel, then in my opinion, that's an active effort because you're actually trying to make that connection and setting up that kind of connection for future reference, and that's good. Yeah. Um, but then yeah,
This has actually been pretty useful information.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
not trying to shit on anybody or anything. Like, I mean, I tweaked the formula for doing well fairly early on, and then decided I just didn't fucking want it. Because like
Yeah.
I was saying, to food shops, I'll get there eventually.
no one gets my
Um,
name right. Don't worry about it.
yeah, I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, no, no,
But
no, 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 no. It's a good thing because it's funny because the name food stamps is now more recognizable than food shops in a way.
it's
Yeah, food
goddamn.
stamps. Yeah, people call me food stamps.
Oh my lord.
Yeah, it's been interesting getting
Um,
into. Oh, good.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, I decided I didn't want it because, like I said, to food shops, like the it is just such a toxic environment, and I had other shit going on that I could move to that wasn't going to be as toxic, right? But if that's what you want to do, then like yeah, unfortunately, you have to play the game to a certain extent, and the game is not a fun game. The game is
Mhm.
yeah, there's a lot of that's a lot of shitty behavior. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie. You know,
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
you don't necessarily have to be shitty, but it's just like you will have to be in a very toxic environment
Yeah.
regardless.
Well, I have no problem thriving in something like that. I don't think. It's interesting because I've like been like navigating this space and like there's like certain things that I'm like really good at, like networking. That's probably like it. I'm pretty smart and I'm good at research. So like these three things.
Mhm.
So I'm pretty good at doing research, and like able to like do deep dives into studies and like write. I mean, you well actually, Food Shops knows because you saw the how much research I did on the debate the other day.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah, like I'm really
Yeah.
good at.
Okay. Wait. Hold on. There's a difference between doing the density of research and then doing relevant research. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I felt like I kept most of mine like
You
relative.
no. You did so much research to the point where a lot of it just straight up was not relevant. Does that make sense? That's what I
Well,
felt like.
I felt like I had to. Well, I'm not gonna rehash the whole thing, but I felt like well,
Let's
actually, no.
not
Wait, what's
rehash
your?
it, but
Actually, I
like,
want to hear your thoughts because I have my own opinion on it, but maybe I'm wrong. What what do you think I did wrong with the research?
It's been a while, but my general opinion with the debate, at least, is that when it came to debate specifically, even though I thought you won, I guess the main thing is that just that let me try to think about the way to word it. Um,
Oh,
it
welcome back,
just
Leon. You dropped out of the call earlier.
yeah.
Oh hey, I was too busy getting food.
It just felt like you wanted to go for density of information on like the only important stuff that really mattered was like the statistics on like how many of them were actually harassers, maybe that was like more of a supporting piece of information. But at the same time, even then I wouldn't say like that's a good piece of information, but then I would be against your side, right? But then that could have been a more relevant piece of information, I guess. But then you also brought up some screenshots and stuff like that, like relating to, like evidence in terms of like Steam community stuff and 4chan posts and stuff like that. In my opinion, that's not really relevant to the topic at hand, which was addressing, misogyny in the Gamergate movement. But then that was more related to like the actual core of Gamergate rather than, trying to win, the overall argument in total. Does that make sense?
I've seen. Wait a second here. I've seen more misogyny. I mean, yes,
Oh
there's
no!
No, no, no,
What
no,
have
no,
we
no, no,
done?
no, no. No, we're talking. No, no,
I'm joking. You
wait.
know I am.
You guys are so loud. Let's just have. Okay, guys,
Okay,
guys,
all
you
I'm
right.
guys are very
joking. You
loud.
know I
Okay,
am.
okay. All I'm saying, right? All I'm saying is that because he did a whole entire ass like debate, right? All I'm saying is that like he's just been he did this like autistic okay, I'm just gonna say it, right? He did this entire thing where he had like over 100 links and sources, but then like only like 1% of it was relevant.
Mhm.
That's it.
Well, no,
Yeah.
I felt like bringing up the other points. I do disagree there. I maybe from like a see what I wanted to do was to not just like to show that the misogyny framing like it's not just like wrong necessarily, but like on top of that, like there's also the direction I wanted to go with. Like there's also like this whole other thing. Like and then that this it's not just oh well these people were not all sexist or whatever, but like a whole separate component where it's like no we actually like did things in the world that were like pretty good, like standing up for creative freedom and
Yeah.
supporting ethics and stuff like that. I wanted to like put
Well,
that out
yeah,
there too.
Ethics in games journalism. How are
well, yeah, sure, right? But the problem was that you also want to focus specifically on things that were aside from anecdotal things as well. Does that make sense? So you were focusing on things maybe that was anecdotal, and in your opening statement, you played this video, and by the way, that video was incredibly cringy. Okay, all right, I just want to say that first. I don't know if other people saw it, but when Stardust was watching it, I could feel her cringe. When I was watching it as well. And
Alright, but Stardust cringe herself, so.
what?
Stardust pretty cringe herself, so.
Oh no, when she was
Well, hang
watching
on.
it, she was cringing at the video that Tachyon was playing in the intro. And by the way, this is what I mean when Nine said that I was not being impartial or whatever the fuck, right? Like you can see that I'm being like as brutally honest right now to Tachyon to his face, right?
Oh yeah,
But
I
like
know.
the thing is,
You guys
yeah.
didn't like the video. I thought the video was a very good piece of evidence to push against.
See, the problem is that you're saying it's evidence, but it's not evidence whatsoever. For example, you can say several things that you can anybody can say several things that can refute it, right? For example, what if the viewers, what if the people in the video were paid? What if
I
the
mean, I
people
know
in the
some of these
video
people. I
were
know quite a few of
no, no,
these
no, no,
people.
no, no, no,
So
no,
like,
yeah. But then there's a lot of what ifs, right? Like this isn't because anybody can make a video like that given enough time, right? There's been like anybody can make a video like that, right?
yeah,
That's
you could
entirely
pay a bunch
anecdotal.
of people, and especially like people in the developing world, like really low wages. Sure, yeah, of course, but like these are real
Yeah,
humans
because,
who
yeah,
exist and like have all the
but at
mass.
the same time, okay, but do you realize why nobody ever submits anything like that, like ever in a formal debate? Like why it's ridiculous to submit anything like that?
I mean, I thought it was
You know,
relevant to the
why
conversation,
okay, why people instead submit things like actual talking points and actual like statistics and
which I
empirical
did
evidence and
as
stuff?
well. In addition to, I mean, I went like 8 minutes.
Not enough, I would say. Like instead you put like instead I feel like you put a lot of stuff that was not entirely relevant. And I would say like the only reason you won was probably because like I would say that you guys were both remedial, but it is what it is. But yeah.
Well, no, I mean, I definitely agree that my performance should have been better. Like
Well, no. You're yeah. I mean, it was just a contest of like who can be less remedial, right? But it is what it is.
gee, thanks.
No. I mean,
No,
the thing
no,
is,
no.
the thing is,
What would have made
the
it
thing is,
better then?
no,
What
no.
would what should I have done differently then? Aside from the
I
video
think
thing, and
okay,
aside from
the evidence
doing more
evidence
specific research.
is that in my opinion, you could have done with less screenshots because in my opinion, the screenshots can never really be
No, they were
a good
archives, weren't they?
thing.
It was mostly
Yeah,
archives.
sure. Yeah, sure. But if I'm gonna do a debate on whether or not Gamergate was misogynistic, I would not be using screenshots back then. Like for example, if I was proving that Gamergate was misogynistic or not misogynistic, I wouldn't be using screenshots from Kotaku in action to show like whether or not Gamergate was misogynistic or not misogynistic. Either way, because there would be so many angles or arguments where I could easily prove or disprove that or hammer in points where there would be cracks in the walls in terms of like okay like if my argument if my opponent was like a skilled debater, like there would be ways for me to hammer in cracks in that argument. Does that make sense?
Like what in particular? Because like when I brought
Okay, sure.
because the Kotaku
Um,
it wasn't Kotaku, it was GG discussion, or no, it was against Gamergate. I think
Yeah,
when
sure.
we brought
Like
up
for
the Nathan
example,
Grayson.
okay, sure. So for example, if I was somebody, if my opponent was somebody who was a feminist and was saying something along the lines of okay. Here is something from Kotaku in action back in the day that was clearly a sexist post. All right, and here's a bunch of sexist posts on like the top of all time, right? This is the top of all time with a fuck ton of upvotes, right? And you can clearly see this is the top of all time in Kotaku in action. That is all like from the Gamergate era. Clearly, there's an indication that Gamergate was like whatever. All right. If I was a dumbass, okay, if I was a dumbass, I would say, oh yeah, I don't know, whatever, right? But if I was Foodshops, right, the debate master, okay, all right, if I was Foodshops debate master, what I would have said instead is this: sure, the top post of all time was like that, but if you take a look at something like the vast majority of posts that wasn't the top post of all time, you can clearly see that it was actually not misogynistic, and it was actually due pointing out the journalism in the games journalism at the time. If you actually take a look at like the vast mean of the upvoted posts, but we can check out their debate instead. And no matter if I was lying or not, we couldn't actually have the means to check in the middle of the debate. Does that make sense? So yes, there would be holes to hammer in, and only somebody who is good at debate could hammer in these holes, and people who are not experienced at debate would not be able to hammer in these holes. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, yeah, but the thing is,
That's a
I'm not
specific
sure that
example I'm giving you.
look, you can always point to
Yeah.
you can always point to like one of thousands of Reddit posts and be like, oh well, what about this upvote, this post here that had like 12 upvotes or whatever in a community of like I think like 30,000 subscribers. at the time.
But I'm saying like if you're experienced at statistics, you can use the rules, the fundamental rules of statistics to hammer in holes in your opponent's argument. Does that make sense? And that technically is a fundamental rule of statistic, right?
What is exactly?
As in like the exception, aka the exceptions being like the top of all time, is not necessarily an
Well, I don't even know if
indicator
there's anything
of
at
the
the top of all
most of
time.
the
That's
most
like,
of the posts, right?
I don't know if anything like the top of all time is like so bad. Like I don't know. But also
No,
like,
no,
I
no,
have
no.
a
I'm just saying. No, no. I'm just saying a hypothetical, right? This is the hypothetical of
yeah.
an argument, right?
Yeah,
That
they could
somebody
make,
could be making,
and they
right?
could even
Like in a,
dishonestly do it. But yeah, they could. But or
no,
they could
I'm
honestly
just,
do it.
no, I'm just saying for the sake of argument, right? In
Yeah.
a hypothetical
Yeah,
debate
no.
point, right? That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
I have following.
Okay, all right. I'm glad you understand. Okay, good. All right.
But then
That's it.
I could counter that though too, right?
Yeah, but I'm just saying this is why you try not to refer to screenshots. All right.
Well, I don't think I. What, what was the screenshot I referred to? Because I'm pretty sure it was in a,
No. Unless you're referring to something as specific as like trying to prove something like Hunter Biden cock. Does that make sense?
But I
If you're-
thought
if you're-
I
if
didn't
you're
think it
trying
was a
to prove-
screenshot. I think it was
No.
an
If you're
archive
trying-
link from there, or link
Yeah,
from
if you're
against
yeah,
Gamergate.
but
Actually,
remember the subject that you're trying to specifically argue against, right, or for, or whatever the fuck, was misogyny in Gamergate, right? That's the subject you're trying to argue for or against. Instead,
no, because
right?
we got.
But you brought specifically the Nathan Gray and like Zoe Quinn stuff, right? That is
Well,
something that's
I mentioned.
different.
I also mentioned the Arnott situation with Robin Arnott and Nathan Grayson. I also mentioned Leigh Alexander and Anna Anthropy.
Right. But that has not to do with the misogyny in the movement. Nothing to do with it.
I'm laying out why like people might have like reasonable concerns here.
No, nothing to do with
No,
it. Again,
because
nothing to do with it.
so the movement. So here's why I think there's a disconnect. Like the claim that Ninetales, she could jump in here and correct me, but the claim that Ninetales was wanting to make, I think, was more that like Gamergate was like fundamentally at its core like a misogynistic thing. Not, I don't think her claim was
No,
that
that's
Gamergate.
when
No. There's two separate claims though. Like the other claim.
Tachyon, the problem is that that's when you started getting roped in. Okay, that's the problem, right? Is because the moment that she made the claim, not the claim, the moment that she started making the argument that okay, at its core it was a misogynist movement, that's when you got triggered. Okay, that's when you got triggered and you started going into like the whole okay, now it's time to prove this fucking conspiracy theory shit. All right, because now you feel like okay, now it's justified to start bringing in the screenshots and shit when you should have said instead, okay, but the whole entire game's journalism stuff isn't relevant to the argument. Instead, I just want to focus on the misogyny in the movement and trying to prove that or disprove that. Does that make sense? You don't want to focus on an entire different argument when that wasn't even relevant to the argument in the first place. Does that make sense?
No, I think it's relevant because
you're not gonna improve in your debating skills if you cannot understand this. Okay, you cannot move away. You cannot move away from the core of the debate topic. Does that make sense?
But partly right. I was immediately. You said it yourself. I was on the defensive the entire time because of the claim that she was trying to make. So, isn't part of a good defense then to try and be like, well, what about this reasonable explanation?
No, you were put on the defense because you also just put yourself on the defense on purpose, right? Because now
Partly, yeah.
when she made the claim that Gamergate was like a misogynist movement at its core, congratulations, you put yourself on the defense, okay? Because now you're forced to defend it. There you go. Because now when you try to bring her back on the core of the crux of the argument in the first place, because now you get to have a chance to call her out on like the topic switch, right? You get to call her out maybe on the topic switch or the pivoting or maybe the whatever the fuck is going on, and now you put her on the defense. All right?
But so
dumbass.
But so the reason I understand what you're saying, and I actually agree that there's obviously a lot of value in that. What I think though is different though is that there's like two types of claims you could make, right? One is that Gamergate was about like gaming related issues mostly, or you could make other arguments too, but gaming related. that you can make it was about gaming related stuff, and then like maybe there was some sexist people who latched on or whatever, right? Like that's one argument you can make that they were like good intentioned but became bad. Like that's a common like anti-GG argument. But then there's like the other argument, which is that like fundamentally at its core, it was always like fueled by hatred and fueled by hatred of women. And like that's the claim that she was wanting to make. So I think proving that, well, if we hated women and that's the reason we did it, then why did we do this?
Yeah, sure. But you didn't have to go into like the details of the stuff. Does that make sense? You went straight into the details. That's your flaw.
I think you're right. I think that
you went into the details.
But
you
I think
went into the details.
Claims matter.
Yeah.
How?
No, you went into the details. Stop defending yourself. Okay, see, you're defending yourself.
No, I want to ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The
problem is that you're so defensive all the time.
Maybe I am. I don't know.
God, you just sound like you're coping all the time, and maybe that's the problem.
Oh my God. So it's like no, I'm always trying to like hear out and like try and like to learn, and I feel like in this space I'm obviously I'm very new, and I've not been taking it seriously yet. Right now I'm just treating it as like a fun hobby I do like once a week.
Yeah. Yeah. See, this is why you need a big ego, okay? All right, like clearly Ninetales has the ego to boost her, but I don't know if you have the ego to do it. Like, do you have an ego at all?
I mean,
you don't sound cocky enough. I don't know.
Well, I mean, part of like I don't know like in the world.
Like you were literally one of the original Gamergators. What happened, bro? What happened to that anti-SGW inside of you?
Well, I am, I don't know. I mean, that's not like that's like opinions you could hold. It doesn't determine your personality. But I feel like I do have a pretty aggressive personality. But I also know like when to dial it back, and I also like go too far in dialing it back sometimes too. So
yeah, but no, I'm just saying like there's debate tips that you should probably take. Okay, all right, like that's all I'm saying. Okay.
No, and I wanted to hear them too because I want to know what I did that was wrong.
Yeah, but you're being stubborn.
Oh, I feel like some of the debate tips are more context dependent in some cases.
Maybe, but you can state them specifically. Go ahead.
That part of the defense of it, I think that was actually a good play. I think that when they say your movement was about fundamentally misogyny, I think that claim, it's a very strong argument, or a very strong claim. I don't know about argument. It's a very strong claim that one could make. And then, but then you say, but if that's true, then why did we care about X? Why did we do X, Y, Z?
No. See, that's the problem. Because when somebody makes a claim on that, then you should say the burden of proof is on you.
True. But
did you ever say that once in an entire debate?
I don't know if I did or not. But
exactly, that's your problem.
Yeah. That's true, but I don't think I was trying to like.
That's a huge claim to make.
I was trying to convince her too,
right.
And like she's not going to be convinced by that.
You're not. Your job is not to convince her. Okay.
No, I'm not trying to convince everybody. I try to engage in good faith.
No. Oh my god. I'm actually getting triggered by this meta debate right now. Okay, dude. Okay, hold on. Again, do you remember what I told you about your goals in debates?
Well, part of it's to convince the audience, but part of it also too, I think, should be like an attempt to
No.
There's some people you can't. There's some people you can't. But there's some people you can.
No. Remember, not everybody goes into a debate with the same goal, right?
Yeah, sure, of course.
Yeah. So sometimes you go into a debate with the express purpose of obliterating Tachyon, okay? Not for the purpose of like maybe seeking like a whatever, right? That, right? Like, I don't know.
That's not the kind of content I want to do, and that's not the kind of power of conversation that I believe in.
Well, congratulations. Not every single debate you do will be like that, right? Does that make sense?
But it's also, I don't.
That's not how it works in this space.
I don't think that like approaching people in bad faith, like I'm going to go in and I'm going to destroy you. I don't think that doing that like is a good way for us to operate as a society. I think that if we want to elevate the discourse above that.
That's great. That, you know what, Tachyon, that's fantastic. Okay, all right, but you can still approach things in a good faith manner and still come out looking good. All right. But the thing is, you have to know how to do things. Okay. All right. And part of that is knowing some specific tips. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool. We're on the same page. Good job.
Yeah, I know I do appreciate it. I think you've been really trying to help out, and in a couple ways, like some of which are a little annoying, but
Yeah, of course. Good. All right. I like being blunt.
no, no, I guess so. Like the Dylan. Oh my God, I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, did you just ask him that as his house is shaking from fucking missiles? Like what the fuck?
Dude, you know. Oh yeah. By the way, since Vivian doesn't know if Vivian is still there in the first place, but Dylan was getting attacked by the Russians, and then literally, I asked him about Gamergate, so I guess that happened. Yep. Anyway.
Yeah. Well, hey, this was fun. It was actually really, it was entertaining. It was.
That,
I
by the
think
way,
pretty...
that's probably not the only tips I'll give you or whatever the fuck, right? Because I know that I know that if Ninetales asked, I'll probably also give her tips, right? But the thing is, because I know that she felt that it was unfair, right? That I didn't give her enough tips or whatever, right? But the thing is that at the end of the day, you know, my tips are evenly distributed depending on if you take the initialization on asking me first, right? Like that's just how it works.
Yeah, I don't have.
Right?
I don't have a
Like
problem
I'm not
asking for...
like I don't give out tips preemptively. That's not how it works. Yeah. Like you have to come in here specifically looking for tips on specific things.
That's good content for you.
Yes.
One thing that I really find
because literally
is...
my entire content is just literally, well, not really like debate coaching, but like literally like knowing how to do good rhetoric or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, one thing that's like really weird is like when I entered this space too, like there's like certain things that I'm like really bad, like the editing and stuff. Like you hired an editor, like that's probably like a really good idea for you to grow. And one thing too is like the use has to be like proactive, like go out there and like do things. Like that's one thing I can be better at. Like I really need to like be way better at like reaching out to people, getting on panels and stuff. But also, are the panels really like the best way to grow?
Nope. It's more like the connections you form off the panels. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like for example, like Synth became one of my orbiters just off one of the panels.
Synth, like the
Synth, yes. the crazy one.
Oh yeah, she's crazy.
And she officially named herself #1 Foodshops orbiter in the server, in my server. Yeah. Wait, Vivian, did you say you could join my server? Did you say that? Or is that a...
Do you want me to?
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
it's gonna be fun brawling with everybody else on there.
Yeah, you can join mine too if you want.
Can't guarantee that I'll be particularly active in there, in all fairness.
That's okay. Just having you in there is clout.
Oh yeah, I'm clout.
Yeah.
I feel like, because oh fuck, when I messaged Tachyon, sorry, I'm being awful today. When I messaged Tachyon, I was just like, you got any room or whatever? And he was like, yeah, what side are you going to be on? And I was like, holy fuck, I'm arrogant as shit. I like literally just expected him to know who I was. And just be like, yeah. And I was like, oh geez, that is kind of arrogant actually, my bad. Like,
it's okay. See, by the way, this is how panels should work, right? Because if you did this panel alone, you're not going to get any popularity off of it, right? However, now that Vivian did this panel, Vivian has met me. And now Vivian can actually schedule a one-on-one debate or conversation with me via Wik TV, right? So there you go. That's exactly how it works. Yeah. You see it in real time, Tachyon.
Yeah.
That gets you... That gets...
Networking.
That gets you in front of like 50, 60 viewers or whatever.
Yeah, you see it in real time.
Wik's not that big anymore.
Yeah.
If we'd have done this a few years ago, I'd have pulled you onto Destiny or the big old the Hippy Dippy podcast or something like that. But
Base. That would have been huge. Yeah.
yeah, whenever I wanted to do a debate, I was like, okay, I'll pull this person onto Destiny because it's just the way I'd have the most viewers on the debate, you know. But,
Yeah.
like I said earlier, I'm very happy to have burnt that bridge. I do not care.
I
Like,
debated
there's obviously
Did not go well.
there's obviously disadvantages to it. You
Yeah.
debated Destiny?
Yes.
I think the times that I've actually like properly debated him, I did fine.
Mhm.
I think the when he started getting really fucking spiteful and shit towards me, there is no way to win that really. Because he's got this fucking massive audience that if he turns around and goes, "Oh, this person's a mentally ill tranny terrorist," like there's very
I
little
don't
you
think he
can
would do that.
you can
That's
do.
not. I don't think that's.
Well,
He's
he
pretty
did that. He
pro-trans.
did that. He did that to me. Yeah,
Well, I've seen a lot of. I don't know enough about the situation, but okay.
yeah.
I've never seen him do anything
um,
like that. I'll say that. I've watched like hundreds of hours of his content because I was, my car broke. My car
Chill
broke
with
down.
the
Actually,
parasociality.
my car
Jesus
my
Christ.
car was totaled, so I was stuck at home for like 2 months while I was
Jesus.
yeah, no, it was horrible actually. It was a horrible time, and so I'm like I started watching his stuff. I watched like thousands of hours. Well, no, not thousands, like probably
What
like
the
200 hours,
fuck?
like 200 hours
Nah,
probably.
bro. And you
Over the
didn't turn it
course
into
of like
productivity?
over the course of like 3 months. But it's one of my best friends. He's actually a huge Destiny fan in real life. So we were
Oh,
talking about
nah,
like,
dude.
oh, do
Okay,
you see
this
that
isn't
episode
Taki.
where no, it
This
was like
doesn't sound good. No, Taki. You need to stop right now, okay?
I don't watch this stuff too much
This is
anymore.
not looking
Every
good
once in a
on your
while, but
end. Okay, all right, Taki. This is not good for your career. Okay, all right. Taki, at least when I say something like that, I can at least say like, okay, at least I go out and canvas. You know what I mean?
well, I was literally stuck at home for like two and a half months without nothing to do.
Taki, all you've got is Destiny and Gamergate. Like, what?
No,
What can
I've
you say?
got great friends who I hang out with all the time in real. Well, not right now because I have COVID. But I got great friends I hang out with all the time in real life. I go to tons of conventions. I go to like 4 or 5 conventions every year for
so
anime.
conventions, Gamergate, and Destiny. That doesn't
My friends,
exactly,
I literally,
add up onto a fruitful equation.
I see my mom. I see my mom like
Okay,
probably
so
twice a
mom,
month. I see
Gamergate, Destiny, and
my
conventions.
dad. I see my
Okay,
dad.
so
I
dad,
run
mom,
tabletop
Gamergate,
RPG.
Destiny,
I
and
don't. Well,
conventions.
I play in tabletop RPGs. Occasionally,
Okay,
I
so
DM them.
so
Like, that's a huge part
Destiny,
of my life too.
D&D, Gamergate, mom, dad, and conventions. Okay.
Like, there's a lot. Yeah, I mean, like, this is like a pretty active social life, and I also try to go to festivals and stuff too. Like, now that I've got a vehicle, I'm like, I made a list of different festivals and stuff in the area that I want to go to. And I've already started going to a couple of them. I went to like a 4th of July one. Like I have a pretty active life, and I don't like this characterization that you've put out there that I don't.
No. Listen. It's not about who you are as a person. It's about how I can present you to my audience. Okay. Isn't that how content creation works?
harsh, but yeah, effectively. Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, hey, it was fun. It was
That's
fun to do
that's
this.
what I.
And
Oh, sorry.
oh, Vivian, it was actually nice to meet you. We hadn't never talked before prior to this, so.
You didn't even know who the fuck I was, so that's
No,
fine.
true.
It's very reasonable that we wouldn't have talked. Don't worry about it. It's so cool.
What was this panel relative to what you thought it would be?
Hmm?
What was the
That was
panel
alright.
like?
Yeah, that was a cool panel. I had no idea what it was going to be. I mean, I was hoping there was going to be more.
It was gonna be brutal.
I was hoping there was going to be more.
Most anti-pronouns ever, people.
I was hoping. I was genuinely hoping.
Instead, you got Foodshops. Instead, the most opposition you got was Foodshops, the in real life political activist.
Well, that's something I want to do in real life too, actually, with this upcoming election.
Whoa, yo, hit me up.
Yeah, seriously.
I'm always willing to. If you live in the area, I mean, obviously, it's like doxing myself, right? Because we
talk off air. We don't have to
or whatever
say
the fuck,
now.
right? Yeah, but I'm always willing to have. I'm always willing to connect people out and help people get their feet wet, right? With actually doing some real life shit, right? Instead of doom scrolling on Twitter and arguing about incest. probably good.
Well, it's one thing that I've wanted to make a big part of my life, and I've deliberately chosen to make a big part of my life, is I've adopted this philosophy where I I have like a very strong like internal locus of control, I guess you can say, or like I very much view myself as like an actor in the world, and like that's like drastically over the course of like the
Whoa,
past year and a
crazy.
half, like has drastically changed like my views, not my views, but like my approach to things, like like I actually like need to like like when if you have a viewpoint, like it's like I used to like be like I used to view it like as like a fun like philosophical thing where I'm gonna like explore this idea, and I do still see it that way to some extent.
Mm.
But like, I'm gonna explore this idea and like get down to like the philosophical roots and like what my values are with that. What are the good arguments for this and that and the counter arguments? Like that's how I viewed everything. But like more in like the past year and a half, it's like okay, I've got that framework or I'm building that framework and it's a constant development. But at the same time, I also like need to like put this into practice. And so like one of the things I think is important is civic engagement and people participating within a democracy. So I need to make that a part of my life. And then once I become wealthier, like I need to make like effective altruism and like giving to the most effective charities in the world like part of my life. And um it and also like campaigning and for office things like that. Like not campaigning for office, but like helping get people elected. Like that's something that like so many people in the space don't they talk about like or they don't even talk about it. They just talk about like bullshit and then they just don't ever do anything
Yeah.
about it.
Did
They
you,
don't,
Taki? I actually have several people in the server who are actually in office right now. Like if you want, like you can actually talk to them.
I mean, yeah, potentially.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that'd
like
be
if
that'd
you
be interesting.
want, you can talk to Midnight Dancer, who is who I think is in office now or still campaigning, I think. And I think there's also Black Magic J, who is also like I think either in office or whatever the fuck, right? But yeah, I don't know. My server is full of feds, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Like, so are
Yeah.
did they come on and like do interviews and stuff with you?
Yo, dude. I mean, both of them were at some point. Dude, honestly, they were literally my first viewers, among my first viewers. And the only reason they were among my first viewers was literally because I was talking about being an in real life activist, and they were like, "Oh, yo, base, guess what? I'm running for office," and I'm like, "Oh, cool, yeah, come and talk with me." And then, yeah, they became my first quote unquote orbiters.
Huh.
And then now, and the only reason they stopped orbiting was because they were too busy campaigning. That's the only reason why.
Yeah.
Yeah, so based, honestly.
That is based. That is really fucking
Yeah,
based.
so by the way, they are mellow as fuck. Okay, all right, I'm gonna tell you right now, compared to like the online shit stirrers on Twitter and shit, right? Like they are some of the most chill people you will ever meet forever. Okay, this is why. By the way, oh my god! All right, you guys can learn a thing or two from talking to these people on how to socialize with people. Okay, I don't know why the fuck you guys are so aggressive all the time. Okay, why do people lack social skills online or like whatever the fuck? Okay, like Jesus Christ, I don't know. Just, like that's it. That's the only complaint. Like you guys are like talking about red pill shit and fresh and fit and how to Molotov the White House or some shit, dude. Enough. All right.
I've never Molotov the White House. That's one thing that I can say about myself.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Good. Um.
What do you want? What do you want? I haven't Molotov any White Houses.
Well, good. Yeah. That's probably a good thing. Right. The last time I went to the White House, I literally saw some snipers on this on the roof. So I think it's probably yeah. I think it might be a little difficult too. All right. This ain't a place to socialize. It's a battlefield. Stop! Anybody who says the online space is a battlefield is also cringe. Okay, all right.
Very cringe. Very
Also,
fucking
the
cringe.
real battlefield is like school board meetings. Okay, that's closer to any battlefield than any online space. Okay, like why? Okay, if you have the audacity to go to online panels, like online debate panels, and argue like so energetically about things, and I've talked about this before, why not go to school board meetings and like urban planning meetings with and argue with NIMBYs? Like because they're literally debate panels, but in real life. That's it. And not only that, you can dismantle their arguments way easier than any of the debate panels online. That's it. And guess what? You can probably record them too and post them on YouTube and farm views.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why you guys aren't doing that. Boomer obliterated by Zoomer Yimby, obliterated Giga Chad, you know, and you guys, and then meanwhile all I see are SJW obliterated compilations, and you guys aren't farming the free views that are literally right there. Jesus Christ, guys!
Well, what's
You
funny
guys
is
aren't doing enough work.
one of my friends in real life, like you keep using like the obliterated language and stuff. One of my real life friends, you probably know who he is actually.
No. Oh.
Yeah. He
Yeah, the guy who told you to stop talking on Gamergate.
actually
That
he said to write the encyclopedia but do it off
Damn,
air.
he
That's
sounds
what he
smart.
said.
True.
Actually, he wants me to write the encyclopedia. He bought my first book, and he thinks I'm pretty good at research. But he wants me to do it off air. Which
Well, please.
is an interesting.
Okay.
But also,
I mean,
what he says
I guess
is
it
that's
makes you
way
happy,
what I wanted.
but-
I mean, I don't even think I wanted. I mean, I want to do it at some point in my life, maybe, but not right now. I want to like focus on like this, and then also focus on like other things I've got going on in the real world. And I don't really want to focus necessarily just on writing a book right now.
Yeah.
But maybe at some point in my life that'll change. But what I was gonna say is what he says is don't approach things with like the debate mindset. He always gets on me about that. He criticizes me for it when I do it, and I do it a lot. Which, but he's like, oh no, don't think of it as a debate. Think of it as just like a friendly conversation, and like that's how you should like view it, and it'll turn out better. It'll turn out that way if you view it that way. Like you wanna be like the change you wanna see.
My mind
But I'm also
automatically
cool with debates.
snaps to it because my mind is okay, before this content creation shit, right? Like my mind didn't really snap to the debate context or whatever the fuck, right? But then now it does. And I am so sad that it does. And I don't know. I feel like it's a sad thing, but at the same time, I think it's a useful thing since I'm in the online tech context a lot. But now all I know is that when I'm eating Korean barbecue, I don't want to be thinking about debate with my friends. You know what I mean? Like when I'm out there touching grass.
Yeah, I got a little too debate brained, I think, in some cases. Like, cause like, but it's also it's interesting too because like tonight, I was pretty debate brained with you a bit, Vivian, but I also like was able to pull back from that, like during the policing conversation, and like during the free speech one too. I was able to pull back and like not get too like focused on like the debate mode, but like let's actually hear out the other person. Like that's the kind of stuff that I want to do. Like be like more often.
That's good.
Yeah, seems pretty good to me.
Cool. All right. Well, hey, you both have a lovely night. It was a very fun conversation. Went a little long. I do. Oh my god. I did. I hope Appabin wasn't too pissed. We talked way more he's not a politics guy really. He just talks about video game stuff. So we got a little bit off topic and went like way into the politics stuff. I hope he's cool because I don't know if he wanted to talk about that because I didn't tell him it would go off rails because I didn't know. It would.
Well, as Vivian might say, politics is video games.
I don't know if I would say that actually.
As Vivian said 5 years ago, right?
What? When? When did this happen? This never happened.
Well, you do believe everything is political, right?
That cocaine's really kicking in. What the fuck?
Most things, maybe? I don't know. Probably not everything. Yeah.
Vivian, friend me on Discord.
I think
Oh, fuck
I think
me.
we're probably in
Okay,
agreement there.
Jesus.
Yes.
Well, and it's so funny too. Like the one I've lived my values pretty much, except in like one area, and that's
Can you DM me
the
your fucking
veganism
server
thing.
so I don't have to look for it?
Yes.
Like I still eat meat, even
I'm
though
sorry,
like,
I'm very lazy.
Yes.
I have serious like concerns about factory farms and stuff.
Yeah, well, he doesn't.
Factory farms.
Oh, dude, it's fucking awful.
Stop. Okay, stop. Okay, I'm leaving. Bye. Okay, no, I need to. I
Okay,
need
all
to-
right, bye,
I
bye.
need to move on to the next items on my stream. Okay, aka literally no items. Okay,
All right,
but-
all right.